Here's a little fictional romance story called Meeting Losing My Best Friend. So I have autism and don't drive. My state ID card is about to expire, and I have to go up to the center to get my picture taken for my new ID card. And my dad had to drive me up there, and I was having the worst day of my life. We get up to the center, and my dad parks a mile from the door, which you can't see from the parking spot. I get out, and my dad stays in the car, and as I walk up to the door, there's a very beautiful Indian girl from India walking up the door, too. She had very long dark hair and very big dark eyes. We get to the door at the same time, and I open the door and hold it for her, and I walk in behind her, and we walk down the hallway together. We both walk up to the counter and each take a number, and we realize we're going to be here for a couple hours, and there's no place to sit except two chairs at the side. So we sit down together and start talking, and just like that we became best friends. We just got deeper and deeper in the conversation, and we each got to know each other pretty well. She was the same age I was, we both liked oldies music, had the same political views, and we weren't really religious or anything, but more on the science side. Her parents brought her up the same way mine brought me up, and they made her do a lot of things she didn't want to make her a better person in life. And they steered her away from bad decisions like drugs, smoking, alcohol, piercings, and tattoos. She did have a driver's license, which I didn't, and she realized that, and also how decent of a person I was by how nice and polite I was being to her, and how I never gave a second thought to the fact that she was Indian, and gave her a lot of respect, and that she could totally trust me, unlike all the guys who have approached her in the past that she dealt with. And despite not having a driver's license, I had great qualities and a lot to offer her in life. And I was also heartbroken to hear that this wonderful person that I just met, who has now become my very best friend, when she was 4 years old, she told me her and her family escaped certain death in their country because the leaders in her country wanted to kill her and her family because of their religious beliefs. And they got out of there just in time, and her family became U.S. citizens just a few years after. So anyway, that's how the conversation went. She also sent me a friend request on Facebook, and we exchanged contact information so we could talk later. So our numbers were up at this time. She went and got her picture taken for her new driver's license, and my turn came about 20 seconds later. After she went up, and I went up to the counter right next to her. And she was done first, and she went out to the hallway and waited for me. And I was done a few minutes later. I walked out, and she was sitting there waiting for me, and we walked out together. So I opened the door for my new best friend, and since tomorrow was Saturday, we just said we need to meet somewhere. And we hugged each other and said, I'll see you tomorrow. So that's how my day ended. I just had the most fun in my entire life that I'd had in years, and I made a very special friend. So that night, we get home, we talk online, so it's Saturday. She comes over and we just hang out at my house. She gets fascinated by my projects and plastic chair collection, and we just end up out of my back patio, sitting on my Pacific Fanback chairs, holding hands, and having the time of our lives talking about how life has treated us so far. So we just spend each weekend sitting together out on my patio till it gets too dark. But it was so difficult not seeing her all week, and I was very sad, lonely, and depressed when I could not be by my friend's side. My mom said, Brian, if you want her to live here, clean your room and make it so you can share it with her. So 2 days later, my friend starts living with me, and over the next couple of years, we settled down together. I went everywhere with my best friend, and I never mind going shopping with her at all. All I ever want to do is be by my friend's side, because this is the first girl that I actually liked, that actually liked me back, and treated me very nicely, and she was my very best friend. And we were planning the rest of our lives together, so me and my friend decided to take a walk together, and some guy who hated people at the descent decided to take his frustration out of my friend, because he thought she was a Muslim terrorist, which she was never in the first place, and not only that, she's on the science side of religion and doesn't really believe in it. Well, he stabbed my best friend and she died right in front of me. I never got to say goodbye to her or tell her how much I loved her. So that's how I met and lost my very special friend. It was my entire life and meant everything in the world to me.